Happy to be here with my brothers on Blog. Ready to get to it, man. I'm so excited about this show. You pay yourself a professional athlete, and you get paid to catch the ball and can't. Like, that just makes no sense to me.
Biggest takeaway is that if you are a West Coast team, take your behind to the East Coast 2 days beforehand so you can at least get 1 day acclimated to the time difference.
The effort they put up against the Warriors, lethargic, pitiful. We won't give too many more words to it, so we're going to move on.
And here we go.
Oh, my goodness.
Now, the Big Game Christian Sports Network proudly presents Donny Epting, Dwayne Sutton, and Willie Epting. And they are in the zone.
The boys are back in sound. You are listening to the one and only In the Zone Sports Show here on the official broadcast station of the Dallas Charge Pro Fast Pitch Softball on the Big Game Christian Sports Network. And as always, this edition of the In the Zone Sports Show is being brought to you by PureFlix. Enjoy faith and family movies, TV shows, and educational programs anytime, anywhere for only $7.99 per month. Sign up for your 30-day free trial by going to bgcsports.net on the BGC Sports app and click on the PureFlix banner and start your free trial today. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and children of all ages, the boys are back in sound. I am the Captain Donny Epting. This is the In the Zone Sports Show. You know, the knuckleheads, the boys, my brothers, they're here with me. Let's introduce them. Get them on in here. Willie Epting Jr. out there in the great state of Texas. What's going on with you, man?
What's happening, world? Hashtag Brothers of Blog, Captain. Whoa, what's going on, brothers?
Everything is lovely.
That felt good. Appreciate that. I needed that one.
All right.
Start crying now.
Yeah, right. That's my teammate. If y'all do that to him, that's unfair.
Focus.
Dwayne Sutton, say something to the people.
Why, what's that one, world? Man, it's good to be back. Cap, OG, Triple OG, Junior, and woe is him, and let's get live.
Junior. All right. Guys, it's good to talk to you. Hey, it's about that time. Let's look at the watch. It says that it's time for us to do our thing. So y'all ready?
Definitely.
All
right.
Let's go.
And here we go.
We start off this episode of the In the Zone Sports Show with some shocking news. Developing situation coming out of Waco, Texas, and Baylor University. Oh boy, this one's tough to talk about. The Baylor football team, they've lost their head coach. Art Briles has been suspended with the intention of being terminated. In other words, Art Briles is fired. The Baylor football program has been the subject of much controversy regarding sexual assaults, things being swept under the rug, not being reported, guys going unpunished. It's been a big ordeal down in Texas, down in Waco with Baylor. And before we move any further, I just want to read the mission statement from Baylor University, if you guys will oblige me here for just a moment. Because this is some heavy duty stuff that we're about to get into. And of course, this is the Big Game Christian Sports Network, so hey, it all ties in hand in hand. The Baylor University mission statement. The mission of Baylor University is to educate men and women for worldwide leadership and service by integrating academic excellence and Christian commitment within a caring community. We're going to get Willie Epting Jr. here. Willie, there's been a lot of sexual assaults. Some of this has gone unnoticed. Some has gone unreported. Some of the events have happened off campus. There's been one individual who's had multiple cases. Willie, let's get your first thoughts in here on the goings-on. You're out there in the Dallas area, not too far from Waco, so you kind of got an ear to the ground on the things that's going on out there with Baylor University. Willie, let's see what you got, man.
Well, Waco is only about 145 or 50 miles from my location. It is the largest Baptist university in the country with just over 16,000 students. And I'm glad that you read the mission statement, Captain, because in times of turmoil, that is what any entity is supposed to do, is to always refer back to the mission statement, whether there's something that's going on that's good or whether there's something going on that's obviously bad, such as this. Now, the report that was completed by the law firm, I believe it's Pepper, the Pepper law firm, or Pepper Hamilton, I'm sorry.
Pepper Hamilton out of Philadelphia.
Out of the East Coast. They did this independent, and I do that in quotes, investigation. And in their report, there's 13 pages. The word failed was used 31 times. That is more than 2 times per page. Now, where did they fail? Well, they failed their mission statement. They haven't done that. In essence, they have been hypocrites. Failure by senior leadership of the university, failure by law enforcement, failure by faculty, other members of higher ranking people in that institution, the athletic department. They have all failed. And it's miserable to think that these people and these students were walking around on campus in a fog because of what their leadership at that institution failed at. Now, again, I go back to the mission statement and how they just totally failed it. Title IX, the Violence Against Women Reauthorization Act, VAWA. I'm going to say VAWA. Pepper noted that there was no or insufficient training for senior leadership. Okay, I'm not understanding. You are a Baptist university, the largest in the country, well known across the world. How do you let this happen? And not only that, what do you do from here? So this is more than just a football thing, guys.
Oh yeah, definitely.
This is way bigger than football.
Definitely.
They got that nice new stadium that they just built off of I-35 when you first come into Waco. Right, it sits right along the Brazos River, y'all. And when I tell you it looks like a professional venue, it does. But now it's going to be the house that the horror ghost built or something to that effect because of all of these things that have taken place over the last several years. Now, this is going back all the way back to 2011.
That's crazy. That is asinine to me, man.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Robert Griffin III was there at that time.
Right.
But like I said,
trophy year, wasn't it?
I believe it was.
Right.
Now, this is so much bigger than football.
Exactly.
So the thing that I just want to say to Baylor and everybody is connected to Baylor, you need prayer too. And we pray on this show every time before we go on the air. And that prayer extends to everyone that we are connected to. And Baylor University, since you are being mentioned in our show on the Big Game Christian Sports Network, you are connected to us. So that means that we are praying for you as well and everybody that you're connected to.
Yeah, and Willie, I'm glad you touched on Title IX. I was gonna read off the definition of Title IX or the basis of Title IX, and it goes as follows: the U.S. Department of Education's Office for Civil Rights enforces, among other statutes, Title IX of the Education Amendments of 1972. Title IX protects people from discrimination based on sex in education programs or activities that receive federal financial assistance. Title IX states that no person in the United States shall, on the basis of sex, be excluded from participation in, be denied the benefits of, or be subjected to discrimination under any education program or activity receiving federal financial assistance. A lot of folks may recall that Title IX was kind of the door that opened women's basketball and different women's programs up to being able to be played on college campuses. But as Willie has mentioned so many times, this is bigger than athletics, it's bigger than football or any other sport. Title IX is to protect against wrongdoing. If you see something, say something. If you know something, do something about it. That's what Title IX is all about. Guys, and I haven't told y'all this, but I work for a college. Well, I haven't told our fans, our listeners this, but I work for a community college here in my area. And Willie, you said something, man, that struck a chord within me. Senior leadership had not had any Title IX training. Last November and December, I had to go and sit in on a Title IX training. About an hour and a half. I mean, it wasn't rocket science. It wasn't anything that, I had to take a quiz on and hope that I passed and continue to keep my job or anything like that. But it's all about information. It's all about knowing what certain individuals need to do when certain things happen. It's a shame. It's a travesty that all these events were going on. I mentioned in the opening, one player from Baylor's football team who had been in countless number of incidents. That young man's name is Tevin Elliott, suspected of 4 sexual assaults and 1 attempted assault from the years 2009 to 2012. He was found guilty on 1 of the sexual assaults. Baylor just had a player who was in the mix for the NFL draft. Looked like he was going to be a draft pick. Sean Oakman, charged with sexually assaulting a Baylor graduate student. He was not drafted. He was prior investigated for a 2013 incident where he assaulted an ex-girlfriend. But that ex-girlfriend declined to press charges. Willie, also to piggyback on something that you said, and this is from ESPN, who kind of, let's give them credit. Outside the lines, Bob Lee, Paula Levine, those guys, they worked tirelessly to bring this situation from the dark to the light. And Baylor took them more than 3 years to comply with a federal directive to hire a full-time Title IX coordinator, which they did in the fall of 2014. 3 years after all these events took place.
Abominable.
Yeah, that's a shame. Dwayne Sutton, we want to get your thoughts on this situation, man. Mike is yours.
I'm truly sickened by everything that I've read, everything I've heard. I cannot stomach some of the things that my eyes have been, exposed to. The thing that kind of sickens me the most is, as leaders, it's your job to hold these young men accountable for their transgressions, their mistakes that they make. But how in the world can you consider yourself to be the leader in this situation when you yourself, the grown men in this situation, they're not being held accountable properly? I know Art Briles, he's been quote unquote fired, as you said, suspended, which means definitely you're done. But the president, Ken Starr, to be demoted.
Yeah.
Demoted.
Yeah.
You mean he's still employed? Now, people, in case y'all aren't aware, Ken Starr had a reputation before all of this began, because he had a part in Clinton's, impeachment or whatever.
Quote unquote impeachment, because the man still served 8 full years as president.
Yeah. But he pretty much put the entire report together, and they went after Clinton for his transgressions. And here we are today. That was back in 98? Here we are today, 18 years later. And you're basically the head of an administration that turned put a blind eye to the entire situation. Multiple allegations, 2 convicted players so far, and all they did was demote him. It's how in the world can you hold the young men accountable, the children, when you don't have their leaders being held they're not being properly held accountable? I don't understand how this works. It's like the blind leading the blind right now.
You took the words right out of my mouth, man. That's exactly what I was thinking.
And I got 2 of my partners, man. I just came out of Houston this past weekend. My Trahan boys, man. Shout out to y'all. And and one's actually just finished up his freshman year at Baylor, and the other actually will be attending this year. And I just pray that the Lord is with them and leads them to be in the proper company. And that whatever demons or spirits is on that campus, they stay away from my boys, man. This is just horrible.
Yeah.
You know, as a father, but especially a father who has a daughter, it's not something that you want to see.
That's true. Willie, did you have something that you wanted to get in? Because if you did, what we'll do is we'll come back from our first break, and we'll definitely carry this over to segment 2 if you have something you want to get in.
Yeah, just one more thing I want to add.
Okay, all right, we'll do that. Let's take our break. We'll be right back here on the In the Zone Sports Show here on the Big Game Christian Sports Network right after this.
How long would you wait for your shower to get hot? How long would you wait for your cell phone to fully charge? How long would you wait to get relief from your nasal congestion? If you're congested now and you want powerful relief now, use Afrin No Drip. Afrin starts working in seconds and keeps working for 12 hours. So, why wait? When you can start to get relief in seconds with Afrin. Afrin, powerful congestion relief without the wait. Use as directed. For more information, go to afrin.com.
All right, good people, we welcome you back here to the In the Zone Sports Show here on the official broadcast station of the Dallas Charge Pro Fast Pitch Softball on the Big Game Christian Sports Network. This edition of the In the Zone Sports Show is being brought to you by PureFlix. Enjoy faith and family movies, TV shows, and educational programs anytime, anywhere for only $7.99 per month. Sign up for your 30-day free trial by going to bgcsports.net or on the BGC Sports app and click on the PureFlix banner and start your free trial today. Okay, we are back with our second segment here on the In the Zone Sports Show. I'm Donny. We've got Dwayne. We've got Willie. The boys are here. It's like a full house backfield. And we are going to continue to discuss the goings-on at Baylor University in Waco, Texas. Thursday, just to recap, for those of you who may not have been in on the first segment, but to recap, on Thursday, Art Briles, football coach, was suspended with the intention to be terminated. As Baylor is calling it, effective immediately. Head football coach Art Briles has been suspended indefinitely with intent to terminate according to contractual procedures. In other words, he'll be fired. All right, we mentioned in segment 1, Ken Starr will no longer serve in the role as president. He is being shifted over to chancellor, is what the reports are coming out about that. Dwayne and Willie have both given their partial sides to this very, very delicate situation. Many sexual assaults, lack of investigations, people turning blind eyes. It's abnormal to see this to this degree in college sports. So we definitely want to spend some more time talking about it. Willie Epting Jr., let's get you back on the mic, man. I know you had some information that you wanted to continue to shell out to our listeners here. So it's on you, man.
Yeah, this is from the Pepper Report, and I'm just going to read one of the first sentences of this report. And it basically states this: based on a high-level audit of all reports of sexual harassment or violence for 3 academic years from 2012-13 through 2014-15, Pepper found that the university's student conduct processes were wholly inadequate to constantly provide a prompt and equitable response under Title IX. As you already just spoke on what Title IX is, Donnie, that Baylor failed to consistently support complainants through the provision of interim measures, and in some cases, the university failed to take action to identify and eliminate a potential hostile environment, prevent its recurrence, or address its effect on individual complainants or the broader campus community. Translation, they didn't care. They did not care. And what irks me the most is that, again, as I stated in the first segment, this is the largest Baptist university in the country. And if you go back and look at their mission statement and what it stands for, they failed miserably there. Now, let's look at this from a much deeper perspective. This is just one of the things that is indicating the sign of the times, the end of the age. We have to think of it from this term right here. We are not fighting against flesh and blood, but we are warring against spiritual wickedness in high places or in heavenly places. Now, you can say that the high places can be considered to be our academia, our world of academia. These religious, quote unquote, religious leaders, all of the things that you saw that was going on towards the end of Jesus's public ministry on earth. So what I want to say, and just to kind of reiterate, is that it's sad. I echo the same sentiments that Dwayne had in the first segment as a father of daughters, but even father of boys that have a son that's graduating and going to college this fall. And this is going to shake the very foundation of one of the of what this country is built on, which is education. Now you have to think about what Baylor is going to go through in terms of recruiting.
Yeah.
Not only just men athletics, but especially women athletics.
Right.
And there are going to be a lot of other things that are going to come out that we have no idea about.
That's true, man. And again, it's rare to see something like this take place, especially where that environment is supposed to be fostered around Christianity, doing the right thing, things like the golden rule, treat others as you would want to be treated. It's hard to believe. It's hard to believe that we're even sitting here discussing this. Man, I'm kind of at a loss for words, to be honest with you guys.
If I may,
go ahead. Yeah,
there's another name that hasn't been mentioned. Ian McCall.
Yes,
that's the school's AD.
Yes,
he's been sanctioned and placed on probation as well. Kind of willing to bet at this point he doesn't lose his job. I believe that they just have the mindset that one is enough. You know, Art Briles is the sacrifice. But when you say Willie, they don't care. This comes straight from Yahoo. Schools are required by federal law to investigate reports of sexual assault, and an Outside the Lines report earlier this spring said the school waited almost 2 years to look at a claim against 2 former football players. Look at a single claim. Mm-hmm. They waited 2 years to even look at it. Mm-hmm. The ultimate procrastination. Let's go ahead and do this deep in this thing. Victims of sexual assault and rape, the biggest fear for them after something like that has happened, the reason that they go silent is because they truly believe nobody wants to hear them, nobody will believe them, and depending on how big your name is or how big the name of the actual person who commits the crime, they're going to do whatever they can to sweep it under the rug. What they have done is exactly what every victim fears when being involved in a situation like this. It's been exposed now. You see now these victims, they have a reason to feel the way they feel and think the way that they think, because it's actual evidence now to back them up. We've got to do a better job of protecting the victims of situations like this. And you have to remember, some of these are still children. You know, I don't care what anybody says. If you're still in school, you're still a child. Somebody's taking care of you, some way, somehow.
Right. Right, man. Yeah, Dwayne, you mentioned the AD. I'm glad you did. Statement from Baylor here in the media communications that they put out. Ian McCaw has been sanctioned and placed on probation. McCaw will work with university leadership and the Board of Regents to implement the recommendations as they relate to the restoration of of accountability within the football program, to effective oversight and controls of the athletic department, and to critically needed changes that will realign the athletics program with the university mission, which again, because this mission statement is so powerful and so strong, I will read it once again. The mission of Baylor University is to educate men and women for worldwide leadership. Clue in on those two words right there, worldwide leadership, and service by integrating academic excellence and Christian commitment within a caring community. Willie, what's that word you said was in there, 31 times in the report?
Failed.
Miserably. That is, it's hard to believe. This is just, it's unfathomable how this school, these officials, these people in so-called leadership positions, how they let this go on. Let's get our final thoughts on this before we move on to the next topic. Willie, you got anything further that you want to add?
I mean, I think I've said enough, and I apologize if I sound as though I'm disgusted. It probably is because that I am, but at the same time, I look at it, or I see it from a spiritual perspective, and understand that we have to fight these battles not from our flesh but from our spirit, because we're dealing with a spiritual battle.
Indeed. Dwayne, any final thoughts you want to share before we move on to the next topic?
This is disgusting. I am completely sickened by this. I will say the same thing I said earlier about that. But more importantly, when we get to that word failed, you failed these children. You failed the students. The name of Baylor has been tarnished because they chose to house a situation like this. You welcome that spirit instead of getting rid of it as soon as it showed up. So our prayers are with the victims, with the students, those who will be still continue to go to their school there, and part of the administration that has nothing to do with this. May they have strength and peace in the Lord.
Indeed, fellas. And one final thing before we move on, I want to say is University of Tennessee, you're on watch. And, at another time and another show, perhaps we'll get a chance to go into this a little further. But, Tennessee, Volunteers up in Knoxville, you're next. You're on the watch. So you might as well go ahead and get ready and start cleaning up your act now. And, hey, if you have any questions for us regarding this issue, please bring it to our Twitter page. And we have a new Twitter handle that's at ITZ, as in the zone, sports show. Our Facebook page, facebook.com/the-letters. You are in the zone, and that's all together. Also, you can email us at info@inthezone-sports.net, as well as tune into our website, inthezone-sports.net. All right, fellas. Let's talk about something on the field, or something positive on the field, kind of off the field, because we are in the NFL's off season. The NFL's top 100, 70 through 61, he said, were revealed on Wednesday night. I'll quickly go through 70 through 61. We've got a couple of minutes left. We'll get the guys' thoughts on the list. Number 70, Carlos Dunlap, defensive end, Cincinnati Bengals. Number 69, LaShawn McCoy of the Buffalo Bills, running back. The running back, y'all. Number 68, TJ Ward, safety of the world champion Denver Broncos. Number 67, from West Monroe, Louisiana, of the Bengals, Houday, Andrew Whitworth. Number 66, shocker, Earl Thomas, safety, Seattle Seahawks. Number 65, defensive rookie of the year, Marcus Peters, cornerback of the Kansas City Chiefs. Rashad Jones, safety of the Miami Dolphins, is number 64. Number 63, Gerald McCoy, defensive tackle, Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Number 62, from the 88 Club, Michael Irvin, what's going on? Demarius Thomas, wide receiver, Denver Broncos. And number 61, Navarro Bowman, linebacker, San Francisco 49ers. And Navarro, you still got it. We got about a couple of minutes left, guys. We'll get Dwayne's thoughts in here first on 70 through 61.
10 players out of that 10, 6 were not on this list last year. Once again, to come up, part 2. The other 4 were in the 20s last year. Talk about a big drop.
Yeah, you had Demarius in the 20s. Gerald McCoy was in the 20s.
Gerald
McCoy. Right?
Gerald McCoy, Earl Thomas, LaShawn McCoy, and Demarius.
Yeah. And
I think it's kind of funny that, when you mentioned Demarius Thomas and dropped in the same sentence,
you're so wrong. You are so wrong because he had a problem with drops last year.
He had a problem. That adult beverage that Peyton Manning was talking about.
Yeah.
Heard he tossed one of Demarius. He dropped that too.
You know what? Willie Epstein Jr. talk.
Yeah, let's give it up for my man, Mr. Whitworth. Andrew Whitworth, 318 Monroe, West Monroe. Y'all stand up for this fella. Honor for him to be voted in by his peers. What I like about this list is that of these 10 players, 7 of them are on the defensive side of the rock.
And 3 safeties.
Yes.
Which is what I saw to be kind of an anomaly there a little bit. And it was funny to see Michael Crabtree talk about Marcus Peters. Crabtree first started off with, I don't want to talk about Peters. I really don't want to talk about him. Because Peters balled last year. He balled. I want to get a quick note in about TJ Ward. I was tweeting during the show, and this is what I said about TJ Ward. He's a guy who will hit you, take your lunch money, and your girl. He's that type of dude.
In that order.
You're right, in that order.
I was just going to say in that order.
Right, in that order. He's just that type of dude. He hits hard, man.
Hey, right. one real quick thing on Peters.
Yeah, we got about 10 seconds.
8 picks in 2014. The Kansas City Chiefs had 4 as a team.
Crazy stat. Segment 3 coming up here on the In the Zone Sports Show right after this timeout.
Because Wendy switched to Geico and saved hundreds of dollars on car insurance, her vacation savings jar wants to pat her on the back. But it can't. It's a vacation savings jar. It doesn't have a palm to pat with. Even if it tried, it'd just spill change everywhere and make a mess. Switch to Geico, and every time you see the extra cash, you'll know your vacation savings jar wants to pat you on the back. But remember, it can't. It's a jar. It is, however, happy that you're saving money.
Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
Sports fans, we welcome you back to the In the Zone Sports Show here on the official broadcast station of the Dallas Charge Pro Fast Pitch Softball. Go check them out. Season starts soon. Here on the Big Game Christian Sports Network. This edition of the In the Zone Sports Show is being brought to you by PureFlix. Enjoy faith and family movies, TV shows, and educational programs anytime, anywhere for only $7.99 per month. Sign up for your 30-day free trial by going to bgcsports.net or on the BGC Sports app and click on the PureFlix banner and start your trial today. All right. Segment 3 here on the In the Zone Sports Show. Willie, Dwayne, I'm Donnie. We're here with you. We're going to go and hear from our girl, Miss Kenji Knox, with the greatest fan segment from this week. What do you have for us, Kenji?
What's up, the greatest fan? I am Kenji Knox with this smooth, cool brother. They call him Robert Clasper. Tell us about your music.
Well, I'm a jazz piano player. I have a few albums out in the jazz world, but I also have 2 albums out in the R&B world. my 2012 Black Radio album won R&B Album of the Year at the Grammys.
Wow. So tell us about your Essence Festival experience. 20th Essence Festival, brought to you by Coca-Cola. So hot.
This is great. I love it. I've been here at the Essence Festival maybe 4 times. I came here with Maxwell a few years ago, playing piano for him, and I came here myself maybe twice or 2 or 3 times. This is amazing. I just got off the plane, so I've only been here for like 2 hours.
2 hours. So and you're already cool and smooth and got to go on a...
My Twitter handle is Robert Glasper, at Robert Glasper, I guess, however you say that. Also, my website is robertglasper.com.
Love you.
Unfortunately, I don't do Instagram or pages for me. I don't know who's yeah.
Okay, Robert Glasper, Kenji Knox with the Great Show, brought to you by Harris New Orleans Casino. Stay connected with Robert.
All right, as always, great stuff from you, Miss Kenji Knox. We appreciate that. We appreciate the love that you are showing in the Zone Sports and the Big Game Christian Sports Network. Willie, Dwayne, holla if you hear me.
Holla.
Whoop, whoop. I said Willie, not Missy Elliott. It's good to hear y'all laugh, man, after such a serious topic that we talked about earlier with Baylor. It's good to kind of get some jokes in there. Let's talk some basketball, shall we?
Let's do it.
We're of course here in the Final Four, the Western Conference Finals, the Thunder and the Warriors. The Thunder, man, would be a record-setting season for them, even though they are the 3rd seed from the Western Conference. Of course, we all know the Warriors, 73-9, regular season record for most wins. Steph Curry hit 715 three-pointers. Of course, I exaggerate. And then, of course, in the East, the Dinosaurs up in Toronto, and then you have Believe Land in the 216 in Cleveland. So, guys, let's first talk about the Western Conference. Dwayne Sutton, what is it that Oklahoma City has done to Golden State to just outright frustrate them to no end? Let's get your thoughts on the Oklahoma City Thunder and what they've done.
First of all, they are a team that, honestly, is not afraid of Golden State, no matter what the Warriors have accomplished. And they have every right to be. You have 2 of the 5 best players in the league on your team. And what gives you an extra boost of confidence is those 2 players are actually playing like 2 of the 5 best players in the league. Secondly, Golden State is most deadly with small ball. That's what they do. That's what they live off of. And at that point, when you go small ball, Draymond Green is your big. And he usually just kind of maneuvers his way around the slower, sluggish big man. When OKC goes smaller, you have Kevin Durant playing the 4 and Serge playing the 5. Yeah, they got the footwork. He can't really just do what he wants with those guys. And their smaller team still has the longer length. They irritate those guys. That's one thing that is going to mess with a shooter is playing against a defender with long arms. Again, why Scottie Pippen was just so amazing on the perimeter.
Yeah, that's a great point right there. Wow. Scottie Pippen. Anytime you get Scottie Pippen on your show, you said something. I'm sorry, Dwayne. Go ahead, man. I'm rude. I'm real rude.
Nah, man, it's good, bro. That's why we are who we are. The Brothers of Blog.
Okay, well, I'm glad you said that because I wasn't gonna say what I would normally say on the air. Go ahead.
Right. Yeah. Moving on. But that's pretty much what it is. They're agitating and frustrating those guys, and you're getting in shooters' faces. Those long arms are able to distract them and interfere with their shot process, and the confidence for the Warriors now is just it has bottomed out so far. So that's pretty much what the Thunder are doing, and that's excellent of Billy. That's an excellent job by Billy Donovan. You know, an actual coach.
Shots fired.
To make those adjustments, though. That's excellent coaching.
Oh boy, I'm glad you mentioned coaching
against the Coach of the Year.
Right, there's another shot fired. I'm glad you mentioned coaching because that segues to the next question to your brother Willie. There, Willie, are we seeing Steve Kerr being out-coached fire rookie head coach and on the other sideline with with Billy Donovan of OKC, a real coach.
Yeah, I think so, man. Just the small, subtle adjustments that he's making, like even when he puts Cantor and Adams in at the same time. I mean, he can go big with those guys. Think about it like this. He can go Cantor, Adams, Serge, Russell, and KD. That's a big lineup, but they're also athletic. They're surprisingly and sneakingly athletic. So it's the subtle nuances like that. Something that I wish that I would have seen him do more of earlier in the series was play Anthony Morrow, the guard from Georgia Tech, who can flat out stroke the rock. He would be another person on the floor that could actually spread the floor and give Russell and KD more room to operate. Now, I think we should give Coach Donovan a little bit more credit than what we're giving him. You know, he is a championship coach, although it is in college, but he is a championship coach, as he led Florida to 2 consecutive national championships, and he had an all-NBA squad with one of those teams anyway. And then also with that second squad that won a national championship, he kind of implemented some of the same things now that he did then with athletic bigs. When he had at Florida, he's doing some of the same things now. So it doesn't hurt the fact that, you know, Steph is a little bit gimpy, but at the same time, it's just like Dwayne said, you have two of the 5 best players on the globe. You just have to hope that those guys miss shots.
Yeah, because when they've been on, man, they've been on. I mean, Westbrook had a triple-double in, what was it, game 4, fellas, I believe it was. Hey, and I'm glad you mentioned glad you guys mentioned 2 of the best 5 players in the league. Before we swing over to the Eastern Conference, let's talk about the All-NBA first and second teams, and we'll squeeze the third team in there if we can. Just real quick here. First team, your forwards, LeBron James. Kawhi Leonard, your center, DeAndre Jordan. Put a pin in that. Guards, Stephen, as he was once pronounced, his name was pronounced Stephen by the Nike folks, Stephen Curry of Golden State and Russell Westbrook are your guards on the first team. Here's the second team. Your forwards, Kevin Durant and Draymond Green. Center, DeMarcus Cousins. Guard, your guards, plural, Chris Paul and Dame Lillard. Dwayne, on that first team, what is the glaring mark on that first team for you?
That first team, how in the world is DeAndre Jordan on there?
Yeah. Go ahead. You don't have nothing either.
I mean, like, if we were talking just strictly defensive,
you're right.
But you're talking about the same guy who can barely make the ball reach the rim on a free throw.
I have the answer to that question, sirs.
What's the question? I mean, what's the answer? And please don't say because he earned more points to get on the first team than Cousins.
Well, I think it's twofold. You got to have a 5. You got to have a 5. You got to have a 5 on this team.
Boogie's a 5.
But is Cousins really considered a 5, though?
Yes.
Like, definitely.
Yeah.
Well, maybe
5.
Well, then that brings to my second part of the twofold. Okay. Maybe it's because it's Boogie.
Now, Boogie. Ain't nothing technological about your game, Boogie. Now, anyway. But, I mean, look. Boogie is the best center in basketball right now. But I'm going to ask a question, and I'm probably going to get a resounding duh from the both of you. Is it because of Boogie's attitude that he wasn't on first team?
I think that has to do with it.
That's the only reason.
Dwayne says it's the only reason. What you got, Willie?
That's that's got a lot more than most to do with it.
Yeah.
As I said, because it's Boogie.
Yeah. And Dwayne mentioned 2 of the 5 top players in the world for OKC. Durant made second team behind.
Hey, do you remember what I said last week?
You said Westbrook has basically come up to the level of superstardom of Kevin Durant. And this right here proves Russell Westbrook is there. I mean, we already knew it, but we've seen Durant on first team here recently more than Westbrook, of course. I believe this is Westbrook's first time making first team. Or maybe he made it in the 14-15 year. But Dwayne, you said that. You called that one last week, man, for sure. You did call that one for sure. All right, Eastern Conference. It's the Dinosaurs, as I mentioned earlier, the Raptors and the Cavs. Crazy series. After 2 games, I think the world thought that, hey, this series is done. There's no way Toronto's going to be able to come back home for anything. Lo and behold, after 4 games, it was 2-2. But Toronto has had one big problem in this series, and that's winning away from the crib. Dwayne Sutton, we're going to get you back in here again. Why do you think Toronto struggles on the road so hard in these playoffs?
Here's what I think. I think the alarms didn't go off. I think they send substitute D-League players, say, you know what, we're going to just try to win this thing from the 6. Because these guys just flat out, not only do they just like struggle, like they don't show up for games in Cleveland.
Right.
I have no idea how in the world, how do you have such a horrible performance? Like, that was almost 40 points on their last loss.
Yeah, they trailed by 40.
Was it 38?
Yeah, it was 38. And they trailed by 40, like, a lot, or multiple times at least.
How do you do that?
And it's the playoffs, man. You're down to the final 4 teams in the playoffs.
Playoffs?
You getting blitzed. You're
116-78.
Right. In game 5, you're one of the best teams. You're one of the 4 best teams left in the playoffs. You can't crack 80 in 4 quarters? Yeah.
I want to say it's the traveling time. Honestly, man, I don't have a legitimate reason for why a team doesn't show up. I mean, like, one thing, like I said, it's one thing if it was just they just were not that good that night. Cleveland was the better team. You're not even competing. Did you even pinch the Cavs?
Thought you were going to say something else.
Traveling time. They were both in the same time zone.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, you can't. There is no legitimate reason for this.
They might be 4 hours apart, if that much.
I don't think it's that much.
You're professionals, for God's sake. This is what you get paid to do. Play basketball.
Right. Hey, real quick. On the road in the series or through the first 5 games, Toronto averaged 84 points a game. They've shot 41% in the games in Cleveland through the first 5. Willie, let's get you in here real quick. We got about 100 seconds left in the show. If Cleveland wants to win a championship, what do they have to do to close out teams better? Because, like we said, they had a 2-0 lead, and they let Toronto back in. What do you think they have to do to close out teams better when they are ahead in series?
LeBron must lead. Kyrie, Kevin, JR, Tristan, the Nick Cannon lookalike, Channing Frye, they must follow.
Nick Cannon lookalike. Okay. All right. I
don't see it.
Yeah, I don't either. So with that being said, we got about 45 seconds left of the show. We're just going to say this real quick. By the end of the weekend, we'll know who's in the NBA Finals. Please, please, please stay tuned to our Twitter page at ITZ for In the Zone Sports Show. We're on Facebook, facebook.com/the letters You Are In The Zone, and also our website, inthezone-sports.net. Guys, wish we had time for some final thoughts. Anything that you want to say, like, real quick? We got about 20 seconds left. Willie, Dwayne, either one of them.
Love y'all, man.
I just want to give a shout out to Joel Trahan, man. Congratulations on the graduation, man. Woe is proud of you, bro.
All right. And from me, real quick, San Jose Sharks, Pittsburgh Penguins. Yes, we do know about hockey, Willie. The Stanley Cup Final starts on Monday night. East Coast, West Coast.
What you say?
Fellas, good stuff as always. For Willie, for Dwayne, I'm Donnie. This has been the In the Zone Sports Show. Stay tuned for From Press Box to Press Row with Donald Ware. We'll talk to you again soon. We are